welcome to another edition of How to Become a Mathemagician. Okay, so make sure, if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, because what we try to achieve here on this channel is explaining to you guys different ways on how to work out complex maths problems, give you some pointers and tips, and especially with regards to working out. It's a big part of getting or maximizing your marks in an exam or an assignment type scenario. So that's what we look to try and achieve here. Explain things in great detail to you guys with maths related problems, and give you tips and tricks on how to show all your working out. Okay, so today's lesson is going to be talking about dividing fractions, and we'll touch on some improper fractions as well and talk about those. Okay, so the basic rule when dividing two fractions is we simply invert the fraction and multiply. So the fraction we're inverting is the second one here, the 3/4 in this case. Okay, so I guess it's the fraction to the right hand side of your divide symbol. Okay, this one over here. So this fraction, so inverting just simply means turning it upside down. So our 3/4, okay, just inverts or turns into 4/3. Okay, and where we multiply is here. So we change this divide symbol into a multiply symbol and go ahead and multiply. So yeah, that's pretty much what we mean here. So, and it's pretty simple as that. So when we go ahead and do that, we have 1/2 here. So we multiply the numerators together when we're multiplying fractions, and we multiply the denominators together, okay, as well. So we have done a comprehensive video on multiplying fractions. I'll leave that as a link in the description below, so you can check that out a bit further for some more info. Okay, so when we go ahead and do that, all right, so all right, we have this here, 1/2, okay, multiplied by 4/3, okay, and when we do that, 1 multiplied by 4, okay, gives us 4, okay, over here is our numerator, and then we have 2 multiplied by 3, gives us 6, here is a denominator. Okay, now 4/6 is the correct answer, okay, however, 4/6 is not expressed in its most simplest form, and generally a lot of the questions will ask you to express your answer in its most simplest form. Okay, and what that means is if you have an answer, you need to convert it down to a simpler version of that if you can. So what we do here is to simplify a fraction or any number, we simply divide the numerator and the denominator by the highest common factor here. All right, and the highest common factor we've gone ahead and worked out is 2. And all that means is what number is common to your numerator and your denominator. Okay, so is there a number that's common to 4 and to 6? All right, and there is, and in this case it's 2. All right, because 2 can divide into 4, okay, and 2 can also divide into 6. All right, so when we go ahead and do that, we simplify our numerator by going 4 divided by 2, and that gives 2, and then we go 6 divided by 2, which gives our simplified denominator as 3. Okay, so our final answer here, once we have converted this division into a multiplication, which we have here, we've gone ahead and got our initial answer, and then we've also simplified our answer, okay, by dividing the top and bottom by 2, and our final answer here is 2/3. Okay, and these are all the steps to show all working out. Okay, now you can actually, the really cool thing in maths is you can actually prove your answer a lot of the time to make sure whether you are actually correct or not. All right, so in this case, we can prove our answer by converting our fractions into decimal numbers. All right, and that's pretty easy. You're just on a calculator. The fraction symbol actually is just telling you it's a division. It means divide. Okay, so 1 divided by 2. If you did that on your calculator, you get 0.5. 3 over 4, 3/4, which is 3 divided by 4. You get 0.75. Okay, and then our final answer, which we come up with here, which was 2/3. All right, if you actually, and I can actually do that now to show you guys this bit of trickery. Okay, so our converted fractions, we have 0.5 divided by 0.75 equals 0.66666 recurring. Okay, and we've just summarized it here as 3 decimal places. All right, so that 0.666 recurring. All right, if we go and just prove that is 2/3 by going 2 divided by 3, and there we go. So you can just prove that we actually did get the correct answer. So 2/3 is definitely correct for the answer for this problem here, and we've just proved it here with the calculator with the decimals. Okay, very good. So hopefully that all makes sense. If you have any queries or you want something explained a bit better, or you're still not sure on any of this stuff, just pop a comment in the comments section below, and we'll have a look and get back to you with that. Okay, so the next example we have here is this one here. So we have 7 over 10 divided by 2 over 3. Okay, so the first step when dividing fractions is to invert this fraction here and multiply. Okay, so we've gone ahead and done that. So the first step of working out would be this one here. Well, the first step of working out is actually to write out your question. Always, that's very important. And then the first step of working out is this line here. So we have 7 over 10 multiplied by now, okay, 3 over 2. All right, where we've converted or inverted our fraction. And then we just simply go ahead and multiply the numerators out. 7 multiplied by 3 gives 21, okay, and 10 multiplied by 2 gives 20. Okay, so that's our answer here. Now you'll notice something a bit strange about this fraction is that the numerator is actually higher or a greater or a larger number than the denominator. Okay, so that tells us that this fraction actually has at least one or more whole numbers already incorporated into it. Okay, and we call this sort of fraction an improper fraction. Okay, so it's improper because the numerator is larger than the denominator. Okay, because a normal proper fraction is normally some parts within a whole. Okay, and a fraction is normally less than 1. Okay, like we have up here, this 2/3 is a proper fraction. Okay, the numerator is less than the denominator. Okay, and this is actually less than 1. All right, so the improper fraction as our answer here is 21 over 20 is greater than 1. So to write this, to express an improper fraction as a mixed number, all right, you need to work out how many whole numbers you have and then how many bits left over you still have. Okay, so to do that, all right, we just need to know that the denominator is the key in all of these. All right, the denominator here tells us how many parts make up one whole or one whole number. Okay, so in our case here we have 20 is our denominator. All right, 20 up here. Okay, so it takes 20 parts to make up one whole, and we've expressed it here. 20 over 20, all right, gives us one whole number. Will give us 1. And once again, you can put this in your calculator. 20 divided by 20, and you'll get the answer is 1. All right. So now that we know this, okay, so one whole number uses 20 of our 21 parts, okay, and that leaves us one part left over, one part of the 20ths left over. All right, and we just express it like this here. So our starting point here, which was our answer, our improper fraction answer of 21 over 20, all right, which we have here. And then if we convert 20 of those into one whole number, like we have explained, all right, so we take that away, and that leaves us with our remaining portion of the fraction, which is 1/20th. And hopefully you can see that pretty clearly here. If we 21 over 20 is made up of 20 over 20 and then an extra 1 over 20. Okay, and how we write that as our mixed number is just circled down the bottom here, right here. So we write it as the whole numbers, however many whole numbers you've figured out that you have, which is 1 here, which came from this here, and you write the fraction of what you have left over beside that whole number. Okay, so it's 1 and 1/20th, and that's how you would write that. And these are all the steps of working out that you would need to show to get the most marks that you could get for this type of question. All right, so we'll go on to another example here. All right, and we'll go through this step by step as well. Okay, so this one, our initial problem is 5 over 8, 5/8, divided by 3 over 7. Okay, so once again, we write out our problem as our first step of working out. Okay, then it's our first step that we do, and then the first step of working out is this line here. Okay, so once again, we remember the golden rule and we invert our fraction here, all right, which is to the right of the divide side. So we invert this one, okay, and he becomes 7 over 3, all right, and that allows us to change our divide symbol into a multiply symbol. Okay, so our first line of working out gives us 5 over 8 multiplied by 7 over 3. Okay, so then we go ahead and we work out, we multiply the numerators together. 5 times 7 gives 35, and 8 times 3 gives 24. Okay, so once again, our answer here is an improper fraction. All right, so it's highly likely that this question has said calculate or evaluate the following and express your answer in its simplest form or in its mixed number form. Okay, so we've figured out the improper fraction answer is 35 over 24. All right, and once again, because our numerator is higher than our denominator, we have at least one, or it could be more than one whole, but we know we have at least one or more whole numbers incorporated into this fraction. So remembering another very important rule, that the denominator is key, all right, is very important, and in this case it's 24, which tells us how many parts make up one whole number. Okay, so because 24 parts make up one whole number in this example, we would have 24 out of 24 making up one whole number. Okay, so we use 24 of these 35 parts to give us a whole number here. So then if we just subtract 35 of the parts which we start with, and we subtract 24 away from that, because that makes up our whole number portion, okay, then we see we have 11 parts remaining left over. All right, and to write that down mathematically a bit more correctly would be just shown here. Okay, so we have 35 over 24, all right, which was our final answer here, and then we subtract 24 out of 24, okay, which was our one whole number. Okay, and that gave us 11 over 24 left over. Okay, so when we combine the two, all right, our whole number, however many whole numbers we worked out, with our remaining part of the fraction, okay, then we write it just like this. This is our mixed number, so this is our final answer, okay. To express this as a simplified mixed number, all right, we would write 1 and 11/24, okay, or 1 and 11/24. All right, excellent. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys, and hopefully that's some good enough detail there for you to improve your understanding and show all the steps of working out whenever you have to come up and solve a fraction problem which involves dividing two fractions together. All right, and also hopefully that helps you to understand how to convert an improper fraction, or how to figure out how many whole numbers you have and convert an improper fraction to a mixed number. All right, which we've circled down here. Excellent. Okay, thanks very much for your time, guys. We might just leave the lesson there, all right, on dividing fractions and coming up with mixed numbers and converting improper fractions and what all that's about. Okay, so thanks again for your time, and remember, if you have any other further questions or problems, pop a comment in the comments section below, and make sure you subscribe to this channel for more handy tips and tricks on how to become a math magician. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Catch you on the next one.